Hi everyone, it's Rhonda and welcome to a new video. Today I am going over all the books I hope to read this holiday season. In my last video, I went over a little over 20 books of all of the new holiday releases that had come out this year that I was either interested in or I thought you guys might be interested in. And whenever I go through these books, you're gonna see probably some similar books that I went over with that video. But today I have about 16 books that I have physical copy of that I hope to read this holiday season. Will I be able to get to all of these books? Absolutely not, but I'm gonna try my best. I actually have not started any holiday reading just yet. I'm still trying to kind of make my way through some of my November TBR, some of my fall TBR, trying to get through some books that I just really want to get to before I get into some of these holiday books. I probably, to be honest with you, I want to start now. Like, I'm really itching to read all of these books, but I probably won't start reading until either the week before Thanksgiving or the week of Thanksgiving. That's just usually when I start reading holiday books. But I don't know if you are like me, but when I read a holiday book, I want just a sweet and cozy and festive holiday romance. And that's what the majority of these are. A lot of these are holiday romances. Some of these are more women's fiction-y with a subplot of romance. Some of these books are going to have some depth. I do have 2 cozy mysteries that are set during the holiday season, and I think they're going to be good to kind of break up a lot of these sugary sweet romances. Also, in the stack of 16 books, I have about 5 books that are left over from last year that I never got around to, and I'm hoping to kind of prioritize those books first just to get them knocked out and out of the way. And I think I'm going to go over those books first, and then I'm going to go over my 2 cozy mysteries, and then I'll go through all of the others. The first book I want to talk about is A Season for Second Chances by Jenny Bayliss. I have not read anything from this author before. I know Jenny Bayliss is very popular during the holiday season. She has quite a few holiday, I think they're more like women's fiction with a subplot of romance, and I think that's just what she's known for. So in this book, we're following a woman by the name of Annie, and she's a little bit older. Her kids are now grown and out of the house. She is actually just recently divorced after being married for over 20 years, and she kind of finds herself losing her zest for life, and she ends up taking a job as a house sitter at this seaside cottage during the winter time. Whenever she gets there, she ends up meeting the nephew of the homeowner, and he has other ideas for this historic home that she's house sitting, and they kind of butt heads. So that's what this one is about. I think this one's definitely going to be less of a romance and more of a women's fiction where you're focusing on self-discovery and self-growth and just kind of more of a character study with just a little tiny subplot of a romance. So that is the first book that I need to get to. This was left over from last year. Another book that was also left over from last year is Always in December by Emily Stone. And this one is about a woman who has, both of her parents have passed away, and every December she still writes them a letter and mails it to them. Well, one day, or one December, she rides her bike to drop off this letter that she's written to her parents, and she hits a man. And they end up, by a stream of events, they end up hanging out together that December. And she feels a connection to him. She feels like this is going to go somewhere, but he ends up disappearing. Cut to the following year, she runs into him again, and they hang out during that December. So this is going to be a story that's going to span a few years, and these 2 people are going to hang out together and spend time together. This is going to be another book that's going to have some depth just because she's grieving her parents. But the last paragraph on this one reads, "A devastating, romantic, life-affirming love story, Always in December, will stay with readers long after they finish the last page." And like I said, I read one other book by Emily Stone, and I really enjoyed it, so I expect that I will love this one too. And then the next book is One Day in December by Josie Silver. I have read a few Josie Silver books at this point. I have not read any of her holiday romances. She's another author that has always been writing holiday romances, but she's kind of been dipping her toes more into contemporary romance genre. And I read one, did love it, read the second one. It was Crazy Spooky Love, love that one. So I'm anxious to get to this one just to see if she's going to be an author for me. But with this one, it is about a woman who is on a bus, and she's looking out the window, and she sees this guy, and I guess their eyes kind of meet, and she feels this instant connection. She feels like maybe they're fated to be together. And so she spends this entire year, I believe, trying to find him, like going to bus stops and going to other areas in the specific location trying to find him, but she never does. Cut to the following December, a year later, and she's going to a holiday party, and her best friend is there who brings a date, and the guy ends up being the dude from the bus stop. Sadly, I did have the ending spoiled for me just recently, and I am a little annoyed by that, but I'm still gonna read this one. I'm hopefully gonna love it. This was a Reese's book club book, and she does have a little quote on the back. She says, "Get ready to be swept up in a whirlwind romance. It absolutely charmed me." So there's that one. Next up is another Jenny Bayliss book, and that is The 12 Dates of Christmas. And this one is about a woman who lives in this small town in England. And there's not a lot of people to date. She's always struggled with dating, I guess. And her best friend sets her up with this dating service during the holiday season. And it says 23 days until Christmas, 12 dates with 12 different men. The odds must finally be in her favor, right? Question mark. And apparently each one of these dates does not go off well, and this small town, because everyone knows each other, everyone knows about these dates, and they're keeping tabs on her disastrous dates. And I think this is going to be funny. I think it's going to be cute. Apparently there's going to be a romance in here, and I'm thinking it's probably going to be a friends to lover trope. So I love that. And this one just sounds cute, and I think it's going to be funny and a good time. So this is the fourth book. And then the last book that is left over from last year is The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. And this one is about a chef who works for a reality baking show, and she gets hit on the head and she loses her sense of taste or smell. And then we're also following, I think, the POV of her identical twin, who is also a chef, and she runs her family's bakery in this small town. And then they end up having to swap places and pretend to be each other because they are identical twins, and I'm not sure why. But while they're pretending to be each other, they end up each meeting a guy. And the little last paragraph says, "But when rugged firefighter Jake Greenman and gorgeous physician assistant Miguel Rodriguez are thrown into the mix, will the twins' identity swap be a recipe for disaster or for getting their lives back on track?" So this one's just going to be another sweet little small town cute holiday romance. Okay, so these were the 5 books that were left over from last holiday season. Let's move on to the 11 books that are new to me this holiday season. And let's start with the 2 cozy mysteries that I have. And the first one is Tide and Punishment by Bree Baker. This is the 3rd book in the Seaside Cafe series. This whole series is just a cozy mystery, sweet, small town, beachside series. And I've been really enjoying it. I read the first 2 books, love them. And this whole series, you're following a woman by the name of Everly. And in the first book, she buys this just seaside tea shop where she sells different flavored teas and little light lunches and finger foods. And with each book, there is a mystery that she needs to solve. And also in these books, you see a romance develop between her and another character. And it's so sweet. It is the sweetest romance. I love that subplot. So in this particular book, we are following Everly again. And her great aunt apparently is running for mayor. And the other candidate is found. And because that candidate and her great aunt have never gotten along and have always butted heads, people think that she had something to do with that situation. So Everly takes it upon herself to kind of help her aunt clear her name and to hopefully help her win this mayoral election. So that's what this one is about. Again, these are so cute. They're a fast read. They're not very long. And again, the little romance in here between Everly and the detective is just, oh, it makes my heart pitter patter. It's so sweet. The last cozy mystery is Murder Most Haunted by Emma Mason. This is a new release for this year. And in this book, we're following a woman by the name of Midge. And she is a detective and she's planning to retire. And on her last day before retirement, she is gifted a ticket to this haunted house tour. And the tour is at this isolated mansion. And so she goes and she's with this band of misfits. Like one is a know-it-all ghost hunter, then there's another one who happens to be a has-been pop star, and they're just kind of going through this house and things are happening, but something else happens. Apparently someone ends up while she's there, and she is actually a detective. There's a blizzard that is coming in and they can't leave this mansion, so she is trying to solve this mystery of who committed this act. The little blurb on this one reads, An unforgettable heroine is faced with an unbelievable crime in this snarky, charming, locked room mystery that asks, would you rather be snowed in with a ghost or a murderer? So I think this one is just going to be a fun and entertaining, silly good time. And with these two mysteries, I think it's going to be a good read to have just to break up a lot of these sickly, sweet holiday romances. So I'm excited to read those. Okay, let's move on to all of the other holiday romances I have that are new to me, starting with Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. I read Love Like Farms last year by the same author, really enjoyed it. Read the second book in that series, did not love that one. I read First Time Caller last February. That one was just okay. But I've been hearing really good things about this one, so I decided to pick it up. And another reason why I bought this is because this has to do with the ghost of Christmas past, and it's almost like a Scrooge-like story. But in this one, we're following a ghost of Christmas past, and his name is Nolan, and he spends the holiday season just haunting people. And he is actually faced with having to haunt our female main character in this book named Harriet. She's super sweet, and they don't know why he's supposed to haunt her. So that's what this one is about, and it's going to be cute. Like I said, a lot of the reviews coming out have been great. People have all been loving this. So because of that, I just think I'm really gonna love this one, and I can't wait to get to it. The next book I wanna read this holiday season is a book that I purchased when I did that Dollar Tree book shopping video that I did several weeks ago. I will link it up here in the eye. But in that video, I went to 3 different Dollar Trees and I came home with 7 books. And this was one of the books I came home with. And it's called The Christmas Wager by Holly Cassidy. I'm just going to read the back because I don't remember what this one is about. It says, when LA-based real estate developer Bella Ross arrives in the sleepy mountain town of Maple Falls, she has one mission: to acquire the local failing Christmas shop, Always Noel, securing the promotion of her dreams. Nothing can get in her way except the shop owner's stubborn grandson, Jesse Harrison. Both refuses to budge until an unlikely wager is struck. Bella and Jesse will compete in the Maple Falls Holiday Games, an annual tradition of eccentric feats of strength and skills. Winner decides the selling price. They will give each other a run for their money, but as the competition heats up, Bella and Jesse's icy feelings toward one another begin to thaw. It'll take a Christmas miracle for them to admit there's a spark, but what if it's just another game? So this one just sounds really cute. It sounds a little bit like a Hallmark Christmas movie, and yes, I eat those up too. So I think I'm just really gonna love this one, and I think one of you commented on that video and said that you read this and really enjoyed it too. So cannot wait to get to this one. Another book I can't wait to read that I've heard nothing but great things about is Grayson Henry's Holiday Movie Marathon by Matthew Norman. I've not read anything by this author, but this is starting to make the rounds and everyone reading it is loving it. But this one is about 2 people whose spouses have passed away, and here we are a year later, and this is their first Christmas without their loved one. And the mothers of these 2 people kind of set them up, and they spend this holiday season watching holiday movies together. And obviously this is going to be a book with depth. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be a book about grief and healing and maybe a little bit of loneliness. And I think I'm going to read this one first just because I've heard such great things about it. The next one I'll read is Snowed In by Catherine Walsh, not to be confused with Courtney Walsh, but I read one of her books last Christmas called Holiday Romance, and I had the best time reading this. It was so cute. And so I immediately picked up this one to read this year. But this one is interconnected to this one because I think we're following a sibling of a character in this book. But in this one, we're following a woman by the name of Megan, and she has not been home for the holidays in like 4 years. And when she gets there, she goes to a pub, which is in Dublin. This whole book is set in Dublin, which I love. And she runs into Christian, who is a guy that she used to know when she lived in this town. And they're both in a situation where they really don't want to turn up to their family's Christmas celebrations on their own without a date. So they hatch up this plan to fake date each other. And the last paragraph reads, rules are drawn up and a contract is signed on a wine-stained napkin. They'll sit through family gatherings and be outrageously in love until freed from their obligations. After all, it's only for a few weeks. But with 2 big families to deal with alongside old friends, old flames, and old feelings, things are bound to get messy. And when a snowed-in cabin and a little Christmas magic are added to the mix, anything could happen. So this is going to be a Christmas in Ireland. You're going to have snowed in, fake dating romance, and this screams read me, and I cannot wait to read this holiday season. Next up is another new release for this season called Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. I forgot to mention this one in that holiday romance new release video, but this one is by an author who typically writes hockey romances set on a college campus, so they're kind of more like new adult, which is not something I usually pick up. I don't like new adult romances, and I don't like YA romances. I feel weird reading them as a 40-something-year-old woman. But I read the back of this book, and it sounded really cute, and it sounds like this is definitely more of like an adult romance. But this one is about a woman by the name of Clara, and I think she works in PR at her family's toy company. And they have been accused of stealing a doll design or some toy design. And it's up to Clara to go to the small town to prove that they didn't do this and just kind of help with the company image. And she runs into Jack, who happens to be, I think he is the designer of the doll that they're accused of stealing. And then the last couple of paragraphs reads, Jack Kelly would be happy to never hear the name Davenport again. Less than a year after a guy in a fancy suit appeared on his doorstep with a sleigh full of promises, the company that once falsely claimed they wanted to sign him to their small town business program has copied his design. So when Clara prances into town hoping to convince Fraser Falls, which is the small town, that her company is not the enemy, Jack is determined not to be fooled by the Davenports twice. But Clara has a plan to win over the community, only to realize that beneath Jack's frosty demeanor lies the key to the town's heart, and maybe her own. And I haven't been hearing a lot about this book, so I don't know if it's any good or not, but I'll be the judge of that, and I'll let you guys know what I think about it when I do my wrap-up. Right, next up is Anne of Avenue A by Audrey Belisa and Emily Harding. And this is the third book in a series of books that these two authors have written, and each book is a retelling of a Jane Austen novel. The first book that I read was Emma of 83rd Street. Really loved that one. It was Childhood Friends to Lovers, and it was a retelling of the story Emma. And then the second book is Elizabeth of East Hampton. That one's set in the summertime, and it is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice. I have not read that one yet. I do have it, and I hope to get to that one soon. And then this one is a retelling of the book Persuasion, and it is set in New York City during the holiday season, and it's going to be second chance. And I don't always love second chance romances, but sometimes if it's written well, it just works, and I cannot wait to read this one just because of how much I loved Emma of 83rd Street. So another book I cannot wait to get to. And then next I have While It Was Snowing by Julia London. And this author has been known for her historical romances. Last year she released Nice Work, Nora November. Read it, loved it. I'm still trying to read her second adult contemporary called Everything Is Probably Fine. Struggling with it just because it's very slow, and I'll get into that when I do my wrap up. But I'm anxious to get to this one because it's about I think a professional golfer and an artist who find themselves in a situation where they are sharing a rental property in North Texas during the holiday season, and they get snowed in, and it's forced proximity, and it just sounds really cute and sweet. And it also features this little dog here who is blind. It belongs to our female main character, and he can't see. So this is just going to be a cute, feel-good, snowed-in romance, and I am here for it. Next up is A Merry Little Lie by Sarah Morgan, and I think this one is going to be more of a general fiction or women's fiction. This is a new release for the year, and in this book we're following the POV of 3 different people. First up is Becky, and she finds herself stranded at an airport, and she runs into her brother's best friend, and they decide to drive to her family's house together from the airport. So it's going to be kind of like a holiday road trip. And then in the second POV, we are following Becky's twin sister named Rosie, and she's married to this guy, Declan, and they had this whirlwind romance, and the honeymoon has kind of faded, and there's cracks in their marriage, and the romance is kind of fizzling. And so this holiday season is kind of like a make or break for their marriage. And then finally we're following Haley, who it says can't wait for her first Balfour family Christmas with Jamie. The Balfour Christmas traditions sound wonderful, but she's worried about her place in this close-knit family. Will there be room for her too? And how will they react to the secret she and Jamie have been keeping? I wonder what that secret is. Despite everyone's best intentions and all the chaos and confusion could derail their normally happy holidays, can they tell each other the truth in time to enjoy a perfect family Christmas? And so this one is obviously just going to be a book about a family and family secrets and cracks in a marriage. It's going to have more depth, and I think this is going to be another good book that's going to break up some of these sugary sweet holiday romances. Okay, the last book that I want to talk about, the 16th book, is Christmas People by Iva Marie Palmer. And this is a book that's going to have some magical realism. Our female main character wakes up and she finds herself in a Hallmark movie. And everyone in this movie are people from her real life. And it says the only way out of this bizarro world is to complete the plot of the movie, which involves a holiday baking competition and a cookie sweet love story. To get home in time for Christmas, Jill must act out a picture-perfect holiday romance with the one that got away, all while her ex watches on. So I love Hallmark movies and I love magical realism, which is why I picked this one up. I don't know what I would do if I wake up and I found myself in a Hallmark movie. I think I would be pretty freaking excited just because nothing can go wrong in a Hallmark movie. It's all just perfect and sugary sweet, and I think I'm gonna love this one just because I love romances with magical realism, and throw in a book where our female main character is stuck in a holiday movie. Yes, I will read that. Okay, my friends, these are the 16 books that I hope to read, almost dropped them, this holiday season. As I mentioned earlier, I don't realistically plan to read every single one of these. I would love to read every single one of these, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just going to try and read as many as I can. But like I said, I'm going to try and start reading these either the week before Thanksgiving or the week of Thanksgiving and just start knocking them out. I tend to read these books pretty quickly just because they're usually just fast reads. But these are not all the books I want to read. There are some other books that are on Kindle Unlimited that I went over in that holiday romance new release video that I did, so definitely, like I said, go check that one out. But let me know if you have read any of these books in the comments down below, or let me know what is on your holiday TBR. Do you have some of the same books, or are there other books you want to get to that I may not have heard of? I'd love to know. I'd like to know so I can add them to my ever-growing TBR list. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.